when it comes to Avatar, Netflix decided to go ahead and make a live action remake. Now, for a lot of you guys, um, Avatar has been probably one of the most beloved properties, at least on Nickelodeon, animated series out there. I mean, this is one of those all-time great series. Um, and it's something that a lot of people grew up with, or maybe they saw a little bit later on. But I have rarely heard from people that have watched it and just did not like it. Avatar is fun. Avatar has plenty of action. Avatar, and I'm talking about the animated series, is probably known also for its character development and growth. And it was just such a treat. It was a real unexpected treat. At least it was for me. So, in case anybody doesn't know, Avatar is about a young boy named Aang, and Aang is the Avatar. He is basically the one who brings balance to the world, and he is the one that is able to channel the four primary elements of fire, water, wind, and earth. And through him, through his bending, he's able to bring balance to the world while everybody else might be in chaos or not. And of course, he is they do believe in reincarnation, so he is one of many avatars that have existed in all this time. Now, the main premise for the show is that he was trapped in a ball of ice for 100 years, while the Fire Nation decided to basically dominate the other benders. So they wiped out all the airbenders. They basically prevented a whole bunch of other nations from bending freely and openly. And they've tried to take over. So now Aang has reemerged. He's back, and he's got to step into his role as the Avatar to bring balance to the world. So that's the basic premise of Avatar here. So when it comes to the live action series, I'll talk about a couple good things that I liked about it. So one thing that I absolutely loved was a lot of the character portrayals. I would say that almost everyone and anyone in the Fire Nation was an absolute delight for me. In all 8 episodes, I absolutely loved them. Dae Kim, playing the Nation Lord Ozai. Oh my gosh, this dude, he's scary. Okay, like my man is actually scary. Like he captured the role, he captured the essence, he understood what to do. And I thought that he was absolutely perfect in this role. I gotta give some major props to what's the guy's name? Dallas Liu. He plays Zuko. Now, for those of you that have watched the series, Zuko is one of those characters that just totally embodies and represents character development. And, yes, he's the antagonist. It's hard to call him the villain. He's a problem, but my goodness, his journey is everything. And clearly, this show gives you a taste of that. But what I was really impressed with was this young man's acting ability and his performance. I thought that he did a fantastic job as Zuko, and as someone who he does practice martial arts. I thought that he did a fantastic job in those action scenes. Now, right next to him, my personal MVP of this series is Uncle Iroh. Man, Uncle Iroh is so good. Now, he was also a fan favorite in the series. But man, I gotta give it up to Paul's son Hyung Lee. He was so good as the uncle. I mean, this guy really got me even emotional during a lot of scenes because he just really tapped in to the thing that made him pretty much everyone's favorite uncle, right? I mean, this is the guy that clearly went through some trauma. He clearly has like a more empathetic heart and soul. But you don't want to press the dragon from the west. Okay, you don't want to mess with this guy at the same time, you know. But the levels that he brought to this role, I thought were absolutely perfect. And it really just made me really appreciate um in the live action what I loved about these characters in the animated stuff. So they captured the characters perfectly, and I was very, very impressed with them for sure. Now, another thing that I think a lot of us saw from the trailers and the commercials were some of the visuals. You know, shout out to Appa. Look at Appa. But the visuals in this series, I thought were pretty good. I enjoyed them. You know, the visuals were definitely something that were you could tell that they invested in them. You can tell that they were not, you know, cheaply made, that there was a level of care put into them. And I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them. I thought they were done well, you know, overall. And, you know, I would also say that, you know, there were certain beats of the story, the main story, that I thought they captured pretty well, you know. Who was this? This was Ko or whatever in the creepy forest. Listen, that was definitely creepy. I was like, yo, hurry up and get out this scene because I don't want to be here, you know. But I thought that they absolutely carried a lot of those. And even like yeah, listen, if you a fan of the original, you remember my guy with the cabbages. My cabbages, like they even got my man with the cabbages in here, and that was also just as funny. But I definitely appreciated the fact that they were able to capture some of those moments. You know, we still got some of the themes also captured here, like some of the general sexism. You know, there was a lot of sexism that happened. Women can't do this, women can't do that. You still got some of those things, I think, in a healthy way. And that to me was something that was pretty cool that they captured. You know, you still got some of the themes within some of the characters, maybe not as deeply explored. I know we talked about how Sokka wasn't going to be as sexist. Well, Sokka has other issues here that he has to deal with, and it's fine. It's okay. It's nothing crazy, but it works. So yeah, when it comes to the visuals, the themes, some of the acting, I don't want to say all of it, and some of the main beats of Avatar, I thought they did a pretty good job with that. But now I got to talk about the bad stuff. And some of the bad, man, I don't know. This is gonna be a little tough because you know, I don't want to be mean, but I thought that some of the writing was a little poorly made, and I think one of the victims was probably Aang himself. Aang was not one of my favorite characters here. Now, did he ruin it? No. But he just was not one of he just did not help as much. Now there are moments where the writing is actually good, you know, and I think overall it's fine, but there were some moments where I was just like, "Yo, bro, chill out." You know, like it was just like getting a little cringy. So, let me give you an example. As you know, being trapped you know, in the ice for 100 years, and I'm trying to keep this spoiler free for people that have never watched it. There's a level of guilt, you know, that Aang deals with for not being around, you know, with the world being in chaos. One of my issues was the fact that the writing, my goodness. Now, maybe this was because of the editing, because they had to cram so much of the story in such a short amount of time, but it got repetitive. I was like, bro, if you don't quit saying it was all my fault, I should have been there. Oh my gosh, this was my responsibility. It was all my fault. I should have been there. Oh my gosh, I should have been there. Bro, like stop. Like we get it. I know that you feel guilty. I get it. It felt like he said the same thing every freaking episode. And I was just like, come on, man. Like, I know that this is a big thing for you, but is it really like all? Now, in hindsight, I'm sitting here thinking about like, you know what? In the main series, they had more time to develop that stuff, but my gosh, they could have found a different way, maybe a different way to express it. I don't know, but it just did not work for me. And it reminded me of Iron Fist when he kept talking about, but I'm the immortal Iron Fist. But I'm the immortal Iron Fist. but I'm the immortal Iron Fist. That's how it came off. And it felt very, very repetitive. And it just, I did not care for it. And I hate to like really bash on a young actor, but my man wasn't really hitting it as much. And you know what? Maybe it's just because he's young. I can give him a little pass there, but he's got some room for development in his delivery of certain things, certain lines. Like there were times when I'm watching him give his lines, and it was like it came off as I'll give you the better example. If you've ever danced, if you've, for people that dance, there's a difference between somebody that can dance naturally versus someone that's counting the steps in their head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? Like it felt like he was counting the steps in his head with his lines, if that makes sense. It didn't feel like it was always coming from a unique place or an authentic place. It was, I'm an actor. These are my lines. This is what I have to say. So again, this guy is young. This kid is young. He probably will be a better actor as he goes on, but it was kind of showing. That's all. It was kind of showing in his role. But this one actor that and I could be a little more critical here because she's not young. She is like in her 20s, but Azula was probably the one character in this entire show that I was just like, it was not working. And honestly, I felt as though she was completely miscast. Again, I just nothing. Okay, if you know Azula, if you know the series, Azula is scary. Azula is a threat. Azula is a problem. Azula is somebody you don't want to cross paths with. She might look cute and funny and all that stuff, but then like you like, nah, never mind. I'm gonna go that way. Like that's Azula. I never got one bit of fear from her. I'm just saying the girl came off like, is that a face that's gonna scare you? You scared of that face? I'm not. Like, and just even in her lines and her delivery throughout the series, I was just like, I mean, you kind of adorable, like like let me pinch those little cheeks. Like, I'm not scared of you. So for me, the actress just did not work as Azula. So whenever she tried to be mean and she tried to put on this front, it just did not work. Honestly, I'm sitting there looking at her friends like the one in the pink probably could have played Azula better. At least she looked the part, at least a little bit more. But I don't know. I don't know. The Azula didn't work. Some of the writing for Aang didn't work, and some of the editing probably was more of an issue. But anyway, when it comes overall for Avatar, the Netflix overall series. Now, I can't say that I remember the entire series in exact detail. I mean, there were things that kept popping up that I completely forgot about, but at the same time, this felt like a nice refresher. This whole series felt more like, if you had ever watched a recap of something, it felt like that's what this was. Um, and this did fill in some of the gaps that I think that I forgot about, but it helped me remember. And if anything, it kind of made me want to go back and watch the original. Because I don't feel like, and maybe this is fair or not, I don't think it lives up to the original series. Now, again, the original series had like 20 plus episodes in 3 seasons, like per season to stretch and develop and to really let things breathe. And I don't think that this series had that because it only had 8 episodes. Yes, there's probably going to be another season. Yes, it's going to keep going. But there were moments that just felt like if we had more time, I don't know, maybe we needed more episodes that might have helped this series be a little bit more. I don't know. It probably would have helped it transition a little bit more and flow a little bit better because it did seem like it was Sometimes it was in a rush, and sometimes it was just, I don't know, the pacing was just completely off. But I think that unfortunately for this series, it's never going to get out of the shadow of the original series. Now, again, I don't think that this makes this the worst thing in the world at all. I've seen some people say that this or this series is like absolute trash or it's a mixed bag. I don't think it. I actually think it's not that bad at all. So when it comes to the rating for Netflix Avatar, the live action series, I'm fine with giving it a 7 out of 10. Like overall, this was fine. It was cool. This is not something that, you know, is the greatest thing ever. It's not trash at all to me. It was something that honestly, when I started watching it, I didn't get bored. Now, I won't say that it had my attention like glued to the screen, but I kept turning to the next episode. I kept on watching. That says something. So overall, I think the Netflix Avatar series, it's fine. It's cool. It does the trick. It's okay. I would say that if anyone is remotely interested, um, definitely go watch the original animated series. And if you have watched the original series, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm treating this more like a nice trip down memory lane. I'm not looking for this to reinvent the wheel. I don't think it can. I don't think that it can live up to the original, but I'm like, hey, I'm enjoying this memory lane trip. So anyway, y'all let me know. Have you seen and finished the whole Netflix animated live action series? If you have, please let me know what you think. What was your rating for the entire series? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.